Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to this webinar. My name's Phil Oldfield, and I'm a Client Services Consultant at Macro 4. Now, just so you know, we are recording this webinar today.
And good afternoon, my name is Sam Dix. I'm also a Client Services Consultant at Macro 4. For those of you that are new to Macro 4, we've been going since 1968 and are part of the Unicom Global group of companies. Macro 4 provides document management solutions, of which legacy application decommissioning is one of the solutions. We also provide mainframe and mid-range systems management solutions.
Right, before we move on, we have muted the lines, but if you do have any questions, please use the chat items function, and this is the speech bubble icon within the on-screen menu at the bottom of the screen. It should be the third icon from the right. We will endeavour to answer any questions you may have at the end of this webinar. So this is our third webinar in a series of 3, all around how to tackle the challenges of managing data in legacy applications. In our first webinar, we looked at the issues of compliance and business risk. And in our second webinar, we talked about data security. So in the final webinar of this series, we're going to look at the issues of how to increase business efficiency, including saving time and money, by decommissioning legacy applications. In terms of increasing business efficiency, some key issues have come to our attention. Firstly, we're spending too much money supporting legacy applications, meaning we can't invest in digital transformation. Secondly, our business users have to access multiple historic applications as well as the current strategic systems. And thirdly, there's little choice but to spend IT budget on legacy applications. So there are many reasons to get rid of these problem legacy applications while providing business continuity and maintaining access to the data and ensuring that that data is secure.
Thanks, Phil. Today, we'll be talking about how an increase in business efficiency and savings, including both time and money, can be achieved by decommissioning legacy applications. We'll be discussing how ease of access to the data is important for business users. Additionally, how productivity can be raised by providing faster access. And as we have done in the previous 2 webinars, we'll share a use case and then provide practical tips on tackling the decommissioning challenge. Some content may be familiar for those that attended the last 2 webinars. However, it's as relevant for this topic around increasing business efficiency as it was for compliance and data security the last time round.
Supporting legacy systems is a distraction from new IT initiatives and a drain on existing resources. Are you worried that the time and effort required to maintain data held in older or unsupported applications is draining your IT budget, holding your business back from moving ahead with digital innovation initiatives, and potentially damaging your organization's credibility?
Typical scenarios driving the need for increased business efficiency include that the business needs new features and functionality to be delivered as soon as possible in order to remain competitive. But then demands for additional capacity are growing annually, but at the same time, we've got to reduce operational and maintenance costs, and that's imperative. But many of these applications are obsolescent, written 20 or more years ago, and no longer meet business needs. Applications don't meet current compliance standards. By decommissioning legacy applications, you can reduce your support overheads, but also refocus energies and budget on innovation and the more important activities that are of strategic value to your business.
According to an article in Information Week, up to 70% of a company's IT budget goes towards maintaining legacy systems, with levels of specialized skills and knowledge decreasing as systems have aged. Legacy systems are expensive to maintain while keeping their functionality intact. Driving the need for change is the high, sometimes staggering cost of operating and maintaining legacy systems. These costs typically eat up a large percentage of the IT budget, diverting funds that could otherwise be used for new projects. Lack of planning inevitably means that there is redundancy in systems, application, data, and reporting.
So agility is essential in a competitive world. Your IT systems must be able to respond rapidly to changing requirements by supporting new features and functionality. But those legacy applications that we've been talking about, they're notoriously difficult to scale or adapt, and as a result, your systems may lack the capacity or even the computing power to accommodate your business needs. As we mentioned before, having to spend money on legacy applications or platforms is money better spent on new IT initiatives.
Most IT teams have finite resources, which means that every hour spent supporting legacy systems is an hour less to focus on digital transformation activities. We carried out a survey of IT decision makers in UK enterprises. We found that a total of 93% of respondents recognised this as an issue for their business. Aging systems tend to consume disproportionately high levels of resources. Vendors regularly charge a premium for supporting old software and hardware, and internal support costs can also be higher. If there are fewer people on the IT team with knowledge of the application to fix problems when they arise, which they inevitably do, this is also a business risk.
Yes, good point, Phil. An important aspect of customer service is being able to access information quickly in order to answer customer inquiries promptly, and preferably in a single interaction. If your staff have access to multiple applications to find all of the information they need, how is that efficient? As you can see from the top graphic here, a total of 62% of those questioned in the survey said that not having easy access to historical data leads to poor customer service. And then from the bottom graphic, a total of 70% said that business users often find it harder to retrieve historical data from legacy applications. What's more, these users may not receive training on systems that are considered obsolete or even, less frequently accessed, or old applications may be unfamiliar or just less user-friendly. We'd now like to talk about how one of our existing customers decommissioned a number of legacy applications following historical mergers. The mergers resulted in 5 financial business systems originally used in different divisions, and these applications were unfamiliar to the customer care team as the systems were from outside their organization. Macro 4 helped our customer in a number of ways. We consolidated data from the 5 systems into a single common interface and information layout designed in conjunction with the business users. This provided the staff with a familiar look and feel which enhanced their business efficiency. And that itself reduced the IT budget spend on legacy application support in the region of a 6-figure sum every year. And that itself provided a central location to view all the historical customer information, improving customer service by enabling faster search facilities.
So how do you tackle the challenges posed by business inefficiency due to using multiple legacy applications? Well, start by identifying the business processes that access legacy applications, and these could be directly accessed applications, applications which are accessed by newer systems, thereby hiding the original data source. Those applications that are static, and that is data which is no longer updated. Check if any applications perform the same role. For instance, in a merger situation, you may have duplicate HR and payroll, CRM systems, and financial packages. So continuing on, make the business case to move your data to a more efficient and secure solution where common information layouts may be used. Business users can easily access the data they need. Data searches are faster and more efficient. The costs associated with supporting legacy applications can be eliminated.
Well, how can Macro 4 help you then? We have a great deal of experience in decommissioning legacy applications, and this combined with our Columbus technology helps. Our Columbus solutions have been designed to help companies like yours improve efficiency and reduce costs related to legacy applications. The development roadmap for Columbus makes it a safe choice for today and into the future. Once you've moved your data into Columbus, you don't need to move it again. And our solution, which includes processes we've developed over a number of years, moves data from multiple applications into a single secure repository. And Columbus keeps your data accessible to support business processes. But it also reduces the cost of maintaining legacy applications, especially when multiple applications are decommissioned. Then by bringing data from multiple common applications to one point of access and using a familiar look and feel, it helps you improve efficiency for business users who access the data. All in all, it enables you to retire legacy applications.
If your organization is moving their data center to the cloud, using Columbus helps reduce those cloud migration costs. Don't move the applications as they are. Each server still carries costs even when virtualized in the cloud. You may still have to pay maintenance for the software even if the VM is powered down. The infrastructure around supporting the applications within the cloud still exists. So by moving multiple legacy applications to Columbus, you only move one application to the cloud, and that is Columbus. Okay, so we've reached the stage of the presentation where we're going to open the floor and ask if anyone has any questions. So if you do have a question, please remember to use the chat icon that I mentioned at the start of the presentation. So while I'm speaking, I can already see that we've had a couple of questions that have come in on the chat function. So I'm going to read out the first one then, and we'll try and work our way through these. So the first question I can see is from Hitesh. Hitesh says, you mentioned cloud. Can you confirm which cloud platforms you support? Good question, Hitesh. Sam, would you like to take this one?
I'd love to, Phil. Thank you. So Hitesh, thanks for your question. It's a very good question as well. Here in the UK, we've got customers running on Microsoft Azure and also Amazon Web Services, but we also support cloud object storage on several platforms. I mean, Columbus supports, Columbus we mentioned is the platform that we decommission applications to, and Columbus will run on pretty much any major business system. So as long as that business system runs in the cloud, the supporting operating system that is, then you should be able to run Columbus on there. But as I mentioned, in the UK, Microsoft Azure and Amazon Web Services are the common ones. So the second question that we've had that's come in is from Sandra. Sandra, thanks for your question. We're just going through a merger. Where should we start with these applications? Well, Phil, as I answered the first one, you can go with this second one. Over to you, Phil.
Thanks, Sam. Okay, so yes, you're just going through a merger. So what I think you should do rather, is check if any of those applications that you've sort of taken on board perform the same role as your existing ones. So for instance, you might have duplicate sort of HR, payroll, CRM systems, that sort of thing. So it's a good idea to set up an initial meeting if you can with analysts and also your business users, and that will help identify those duplicate applications and functions. Okay, I hope that answers your question. So good luck with your project. We've just got one more I can see that's come in. This one question is from Ben. Ben says, I was not around for the second webinar. How do I access the content? Well, Sam, I'm going to pass that one over to you, which I think you've got some information on that coming up anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Ben. And thanks for that, Phil. Yeah, the next slide, I think, will give more information. We mentioned it later on. So, Ben, we'll send you a link to the recording we made, which is available on the Macro4 YouTube channel. And there's also a link to the channel on the bottom of our web pages. So hopefully that'll answer your questions. So looking at the list of questions, I don't think we've had any more that have come in at this stage. So let's progress on. If you do have any questions, pop them onto the chat. Any more questions, that is, pop them onto the chat and we'll get back to you later on. So this was the last in our series of 3 webinars looking at tackling the data management challenges of legacy applications. And if you missed the first 2 webinars on compliance and business risk, and also data security, you can find the recordings of these sessions on the Macro4 YouTube channel. We'll be adding the recording of today's webinar too, so you'll be able to listen to them again and share them with your colleagues. Also, we use the decommissioning survey, and if you're interested in reading the full report from that survey, you can find this on the legacy application decommissioning page on our website. If you have any other questions about our decommissioning solution, please then do get in touch.
Okay, so the key takeaways from today's session are: identify the applications that are draining your IT resources and budget and holding your organization back from for other more strategic initiatives. Consider how the business uses the data and how it needs to be used going forward, particularly in the case of duplicated applications. Make the business case to move your data and only the data you need to one secure repository. And if you are moving your data center to the cloud, don't move static legacy applications. Use Columbus instead within your private cloud. Okay, so that just about wraps things up for today. So it just remains for me to say thank you very much for attending today. So thank you. And it's good afternoon from me.
And thank you. And also it's a good afternoon from him.